Good day, traders, and welcome back to this week's episode of Crypto Vibes with Vault. So, this is the Bitcoin weekly chart, and we'll talk about what I'm looking at, what I expect the markets to do next, and why I think that the market hasn't bottomed yet. So, we'll start off by talking a little bit about what we discussed last week and then take it from there. And just before we start, let me just put it out there for the uninformed traders that the forecast for the Fed rate hike this week is around 50 basis points. So we could really see volatility kicking in and turbulent week ahead. Now, last week I had talked about why I was a bit cautious in taking longs at this region because obviously we had a deviation above mid-range, which shows weakness in price, and the traditional markets were also aggressively selling off. So the idea of cryptos rallying was a bit unrealistic, and we saw somewhere around 20% move down on all. Some even went as further as 30%. So again, this is one of the benefits you get by watching our weekly reviews, is that you get prepared for the upcoming market action. Now, in terms of market cycles, I think we're at a phase where the alts have aggressively sold off while Bitcoin and Ethereum are consolidating at a level of support. In my experience, whenever this happens, we see Bitcoin break the level of support and then an aggressive sell-off towards next level of resistance and a capitulation in altcoins. So just be a little wary of positioning yourselves in longs if you're interested in spot buyings, because my advice would be if you let the FOMC resolve and then take a position depending on your directional bias. Now, even though I am expecting price to tap these lows and this level of demand, but I don't expect it to do in one single candle or in a straight line. So we'll talk a little bit about how we expect price to reach there and if there is any possible long scenarios that may unfold. Now, whenever a macro bottom forms, it kind of forms after a capitulation wick or a capitulation move, just like we saw over here, and something that we saw when price broke the 6K level, which isn't reflected on this chart, but you can see that this was the capitulation wick, this was the capitulation body, and then we saw price rallying higher. Something similar happened when 6K broke. We capitulated towards 3K levels, consolidated at 3K, and then it rallied higher. So in terms of that, I don't think that this is the aggressive sell-off which shakes off all the retail traders and then we move towards the all-time high. So the capitulation hasn't happened yet, so just be a little cautious if you are looking to position yourself in longs. Now, from a long perspective or from a bullish perspective, this obviously is a key level of demand because price is holding. So this is the second week, the third week where price has held this level. So if there is a move higher to be formed, I think this is the level where it should form. And again, this level of resistance would be then key, because I expect price to move higher from here into this level, and then it will become the macro top, and we could really sell off towards these levels of 31 to 33K. So this is one of the moves that I'm anticipating, but obviously because of the FOMC, we cannot be sure what forms. It could easily just break down from here and continue going down lower towards this level. But from a high time frame perspective, this is the level that I'll be watching. Let me just fix this. So yeah, just a couple of scenarios on the weekly. First is the break of this level, and if we are to see a counter trend rally, then this has to be the place where we see a counter trend rally towards this level of resistance. Now let's delve into the daily chart and see what's going on there. Now in terms of ranges, I think on the daily we are in a range bound environment because price hasn't really got going or shown a continuation of the trend. So it is consolidating at this level, and we are at a level of daily as well as the weekly demand, which I think has almost given way. So this was the first tap on the daily demand. This was the second tap. This was an aggressive buying at the daily demand, then more of a mild to neutral buying, and we saw an immediate sell-off deep into the level of demand. Now price has formed a lower high and a new lower low. So if this turns out to be a lower high on the daily, then the next move from a technical standpoint would be to break this level and move into the weekly level of demand that we just talked about. So again, not looking very bullish from the daily perspective as well, but what forms just remains to be seen still. Now, with that being said, we are at a level of key lows or a key support on overall markets. So again, until this level gives way on Bitcoin and many other altcoins, I think we should see a rally higher, get everybody bullish, trap late shorts towards a level of high time frame resistance, and then sell off. So this is the most ideal scenario that I'm looking for. But let's see what happens in the markets next. Now again, from a bullish perspective, or if we are to see some sort of a bullishness in the marketplace, then I think that this level again takes emphasis over everything else, because firstly, this was the weekly level of resistance that we talked about recently, and it did cap the breakout on multiple occasions previously as well. So if price does manage to come up here, consolidate, and then break out, then and only then I think that we can see or we can talk about the continuation higher or tagging the upper end of this range. But until that, I would be expecting bearishness, and the rallies would be for selling. And this is also the level that that broke market structure previously. So we have a level of supply at this zone and the mid-range confluence. So we saw price rallying to this level and aggressively selling off. And that is one of the reasons why I think that a reclaim of this level would indicate strength and bullishness in the market. So that are few of the scenarios that I'm looking for on Bitcoin. And again, not really keen on looking at what the lower time frames are doing, because we are at a level of a daily or a weekly level of support. So I would be expecting reaction spaces those levels instead of day trading at this level. So that is what I'm expecting Bitcoin to do next, and the main reason why I think we haven't bottomed yet. Rather, let me just open up the chart. Just give me a second. So this is the capitulation wick that I was, the capitulation move that I was talking about on Bitcoin, where a macro bottom was formed. So we haven't really seen fear in the market yet. I think we are at a phase which is somewhere around here, where price kind of forms lower highs into a level of support, and then it ultimately gives way and we see aggressive selling off towards the next level of high time frame support. So replicating it to the current price action, yep, even though on a macro perspective we haven't seen lower highs forming, but over here we do see a series of lower highs forming. And if again If this is that lower high, then obviously we'll be expecting that inefficiency to be filled and for price to tag this level of support next. So that is pretty much it for Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum quickly and see what price action is unfolding on Ethereum. Again, quite similar to Bitcoin. Series of lower highs forming, and this has even broken down from a key level of support, retested supply, and I think that it's just retesting again this level. The market structure is also bearish. We have a series of lower lows and lower highs forming, so I think that this is just a retest of resistance, and then we could just sell off towards the weekly level of support that we have around 24k to 25k. So price action on Ethereum is relatively easier compared to Bitcoin. So yeah, that is about it for this week's review. I hope you guys found this insightful. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel to show your support. And I will talk to you guys soon. And we will be starting a midweek kind of a 1-minute review on altcoins. So if you have any requests, just comment under this video and we will have it sorted. So thank you everybody for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers everyone.